let's take a situation where we've got DB2 up and running, and I've got my demo DB database here, and I'm going to list some tables. You can see it. I'm going to select Asta from vproj. It's alive. Oh, if I type it right, it certainly will work more effectively. And you know, it's a working database. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to Actifio, and I'm going to do a mount of the snapshot of the consistency group, which contains that backup of demo DB. I'm going to mount it as clone DB, so that's the mount point that everything's going to be put under. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a clone database. So while that mount is running, let me show you a little cheat sheet here. So there are 3 steps here to getting a clone database to work when presented to the source host, but we need to use a different database name. So we know the source is demo DB, and we're going to call our database clone DB. And we're going to bring it online at the same time as demo DB. So what we need to do, because of the way that we're going to have to run this command here, db2 inidb, to init the database copy as a snapshot and relocate the files, because DB2 has the database files are effectively embedded in the directory structure. So we need to run some move commands. They won't actually move any data, they're just literally renaming folders. We need to create a file called relocate.cfg with a whole bunch of things in it, and then we need to run this command. So we'll do this once we've got our database mounted. So I've opened up a second SSH session here. I'm going to run df, and you can see I've now got clone DB1. So if I ls this guy here, you can see it contains demo DB. So this looks very similar to where my source data is coming from, right? So my source data is in /db2 data, demo DB. I've got a mounted copy of it in clone DB1, demo DB. Now, I can't have 2 demo DBs online in the same instance at the same time. This is where I need to move this to the name of the database I'm going to send it. So that brings us back to here. So clone DB_1, demo DB, DB2 inst1. They're the instance name, the database name. Now I'm going to rename the SQL folder down the back end here. So we're going to run this command first. All right, that worked. And now I'm going to move the folder clone DB demo DB to clone DB clone DB. So what this will effectively do is it's renamed the directory structure so that the directory structure now matches the naming of the files of the database I'm going to call it. So I'm now going to create a file called relocate.cfg. And I'm going to do this as db2 inst1, which is my db2 instance user. So I'm going to hit I for insert. Now, there's 5 lines, or at least 6 lines that I need here. I'll paste them in and then take you through them. So, DB name, source, target. So we're going to rename demo DB to clone DB. The path is going to change from DB2 data demo DB, which is my source production, to clone DB_1 clone DB. So in other words, that's where it was, this is where it is. This is the original instance, this is the new instance. In this case, it's not changing. And I have the container path and the storage path. Notice exactly the same thing every time. So this is where the production database is sitting, and this is where my clone is going to sit of that production database. So I've built my file, I've moved my names, and now I've got my last command to run, db2 inidb clone db. So let's fire that guy off. All right, if you get this one at the bottom, don't be too worried about it. What I tend to do is, I have seen that a couple of times, often what I'll do is I'll rerun this command just to make sure everything is clean. Okay, now I'm going to start DB2, and we're going to have a look to see if the database is actually there. So, the first thing to have a look for is list active databases. And I can see that demo DB is there, but I want to connect to clone DB, which I've done. So now I'm going to list tables. See, one of the hints that I'm connected to clone DB is that in demo DB, I've been creating these bonus tables. They don't exist over here. So, we can create a table, VVV, like vproj, just to prove, hey, it works. And if I do list tables, I can now see I have a table VVV. So what I've successfully done is take the production database, snapshot it, mount it back to production, and then restart it as a snapshot of the production database. So it's still sitting alongside it, right? Here on the production side, I still have demo DB, but I also have clone DB. Now, I'm not a huge fan of doing this, bringing the production database in as a clone into the same instance, but it is a way we can get access to the data.
Thank you for joining us for another YouTube Tech Tip video. If you like the content you're seeing on this channel, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you will be alerted to any future content.